I think every girl grows up hearing the story of Cinderella, waiting for the knight in shining armor and white horse to rescue her from the drudgery and slavery and unkindness. A world without love. She is hoping to find her true love, whose kiss will open her world to a life with someone who will be intimate with her and connect her to the world she's always dreamed of. One filled with love, companionship, and value. Others have only pushed her down and pressed her with work, accusation, and fear. They fear that she might one day escape that prison they created with words, looks, touches, sometimes inappropriate touches. Every girl waits for her prince to come. So intimacy, I believe, is that connection that helps us to experience love. Pure love. True love. Not as the world gives do I give to you, it says in the Word of God. I collect Cinderella stories from all different cultures, and what I see in each one of those stories, although each one reflects an individuality of culture and language, expressed in the dress and food and proper modes of social behavior, one common thread weaves through it all. In each case, the female is portrayed as one who is misunderstood, ill-treated, bogged down by the chores of each day, while others experience a sense of gaiety in life she can only dream about, fantasize, and hope to create. But one day, her dream of dreams comes true, and she has the opportunity to partake of the connection to intimacy that she has never known, but hoped for, desired. A man who will be able to love her beyond the presence or lack of physical beauty, beyond the cloak of the tattered clothes, smudged face, and the scorn and mocking of others. He is one who sees beyond that because he, too, is seeking connection, intimacy. In the world we live in today, people seek that connection in so many disparate ways. Physical is one of the most popular, but if you're not blessed to be one of the physically beautiful, we can connect in other various ways, through movies, magazines, songs, groups, churches, political affiliations, each one promising some good bond that makes you feel not so alone in the world. But does it really resolve that craving and the yearning within that soul reaching out into the world, looking for that which is invisible in the visible, for that which is infinite in the finite, for that which will complete and complement it, and for that which also it can complete and complement? There are many kinds of relationships in the world, so many times it's a give and take, one-sidedness, not a give and receive, or give and give even. Taking seems to innuendo stealing, or indulging in more than that was offered, or partaking falsely more than was agreed. So how did God intend us, those He made as Elohim, or gods, in His image and likeness? He didn't do it alone either. He was connected somehow, some way, and desired that same connection with His creation. So in the Cinderella story, the happy ending will be she'll find her prince and go live in his kingdom happily ever after. And those who mistreated her will be punished, or become servants, so that the world they live in turns topsy-turvy. That which was first is now last, and that which was last now reigns. But in God's world we see that He desires connection also. But He also desires that the one He seeks and has made in His image and likeness to desire connection with Him, with all that He is, love. And so everything He does seems to speak of His love for this beloved. He takes something that appears to be dead, without life, dark, and He folds it back to reveal that there's still light within there, the first thing He creates. But this light is revelation, an enlightenment to all that means anything in life. And throughout the next few days, He'll create a world for His beloved, a world of light, a world that is good and separates, and a world that sanctifies and blesses her, a world separate from that which is around it, and everything that is in it is good. It has purpose to make His righteousness full. And so out of nothing, or what appears to have no firmament, no stability to it, Out of the waters he creates a firm place, a distinction, a sacred place to meet with his beloved creation. Yet even in the creating of this environment, he connects through the speaking or the permitting of his breath to create plants, seas, heavens, earth, light, a light that will show his beloved the way during the day and through the night. And after he's made and prepared a special place for his beloved, he brings his creation to it, and he places them within it, gives them responsibility to care for part of creation the way he has shown them, the way he cares for his creation. And animals are given, not for the consumption, but perhaps observation, that they too have connection, each male to his female, each animal to the earth, to the plants that grow upon it, to the air that they breathe, to the sun in the sky, and the moon at night, that allows even the nocturnal animals to hunt at night, scavenging for food and finding plenty. And he puts them all into the hand for the ultimate of his creation, mankind. But mankind is unusual, this one, because contained within him is all that's needed for life. But he does not know that. He looks and sees all is good, that even the trees are paired in the garden, and yet not one is suitable for him. Thus the one who loves gives, a woman, and the man awakens to this ultimate blessing. In essence, he has had to lay down his life that he might have her. For God put a sleep upon him, and then reached down inside him and pulled out a chamber hidden within, and brings out the most precious possession the man will ever behold next to his Creator. And yet this joy is short-lived, for man will soon forget his dominion, and one will enter the garden that also is without a mate. It is paired with all the things destroying connection, fear, hatred, anger, lust. And it comes to the woman because she's weaker? Perhaps. Because he sees if he can destroy her, he can bring down the man, definitely. Because he understands the order of things and the Creator, the one who also created him. And they meet their first test of law, of intimacy and connection. But they fail. Each one personally has the breath of life of the Father in them, but each will fail to connect to one another as the Father set in the created order. The woman instead will connect to the enemy. The man, he'll connect to no one. When he hears the Father come through the garden and the sound of him, he runs and hides. And when confronted, he betrays his connections, not only to the woman, but to the one who made him. The woman, she admits her disconnection from the one that she was created from within, and on her unfortunate connection to the enemy. She claims responsibility for how she's connected, but she doesn't tag the man. And the Father, when he disciplines, as love will do, for a relationship requires it, for a connection to be maintained that's strong, he provides her with a connection to her world through childbearing. But her heart will always long for the man to be connected the way he should, so that they can reign together. Every woman today is still looking for that prince within the man, but their vision is clouded through the years, and they are willing to accept what appears to be but is a mirage, appearing strong, but it is weak, and where there is desert and wilderness and no eternal nourishment. And yet they will settle for crumbs so easily. So they compromise. They make connections, as she did with the serpent, with the things that cause division and disconnection. She will make connection in the world with mere men, not discerning that they should be spiritual and they should be giving. She allows them to take. She looks for connections in other things when the prospect of childbearing eludes her, because she's waited too long and fear her career wouldn't progress, fear the loss of freedom, being devoted to something that is not dependable, to give back but to take, and so she robs herself. The world is always trying to stay connected. Telephone, groups, texting, email. Because how boring it would be if you didn't have someone to call or celebrate with in the special moments of life. We write about it in songs. How do we find love? The kind of love you have found. Lost loves, broken-hearted love, parental love. How people interpret love comes out in their songs. How is it that we start out a connection in life in order to bear a child, two come together, a physical connection, not always a spiritual one. The egg and sperm connect, and as a baby grows, it's connected to its mother by cord. And then it comes out into the world and disconnected, spending its whole life seeking a connection, what should be a spiritual connection. But instead, it will find many other ways to connect. Contracts, marriages, friendships, family, job, books, movies, money. I believe that connection is supposed to be to the life giver, and that we give back through our connection to him. Love is manifested in many physical ways in this world. Family reunions, holidays, births, deaths. We connect or reconnect to one another. But what is that connection? Is intimacy defined by each individual, or the one who first began it? Or are there pieces we missed along the way that define intimacy in ways we can't see in the visible, but they will be made visible? Does the craving to be one, to have someone so know who you are, the real you, does it drive us to seek in ways that for some aren't beneficial? We become blinded by love or lust, and do we know the difference? Will we find that connection to the one source of life? It seems like we are almost cursed to find it in so many other ways. And yet there are a few of us who still believe in fairy tales, who still know there is one true prince who loves us for who we are, for who he made us to be, and who is willing to serve, willing to love without receiving anything back. And yet to this one, we would give everything. Our life's breath, our soul, all that is within us, to be connected to one who believes in us, who desires us, and desires the best for us, even at their own cost. So this is my first podcast, and I hope not my last. So look for the second one, called A Woman Worthy. Today, I pray that somewhere down that road, you'll find there is a happily ever after. And I hope along the journey, you'll find others who believe the same way, who maybe have found theirs. We can share with you some special nuance that will give you the courage to continue to believe that it's possible and to live in the light of that.